Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 2 to What If Frieza Turned Good. Now, before we get into today's part, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, and further acknowledge and support the future of the Omniverse by checking out the Patreon, Discord, and Google Doc on the homepage /bio, and in the comment section, request future what ifs and expectations for this year. With all that said, let's begin today's part. Now, last we left off, a spaceship, King Cold's spaceship, approached planet Yardred, and Frieza is like, oh crap, I know who this is, and why he's probably here. And Goku says that even if it's his dad or his brother or whoever he was talking about, Goku's more than confident that with their training and better understanding of each other and Frieza's newfound, processing of emotions and stuff like that, they should have no trouble taking care of Frieza's father, whoever these soldiers or people are. So the ship lands, and out steps King Cold, smiling. But that smile quickly fades along with his men, who are quickly destroyed, by the way, when he sees what is going on here. And it makes him angry. His son is with the Saiyan. They're not fighting, they're not doing anything. It seems like they're training together? And these Yardratians are with them? Are you serious? And the two face each other for the first time in a long time. Since Frieza really, ever since the destruction of planet Vegeta and the entrance of planet Namek, for the first time in a long time, the two face each other. And King Cold wants an explanation. Why was the planet destroyed? What happened to the Dragon Balls? All of Frieza's men? Why is the Saiyan not dead? What's going on here? And King Cold just wants an explanation. And why his son is seemingly teaming with the enemy. And what has happened to him? No son of his would ever do this. But Frieza just raises his arms up in his casual, mocking status and says, Father, there's a lot that you don't know about me. You might not want to believe it or not, but the Saiyan, unlike any kind of emotion that my empire or you showed, actually saved me, far from what I did to the Saiyan race and all of what I have done, as well as yourself and my army. This Saiyan took pity on me, which other Saiyans or myself would have originally thought a weakness. But it seems we understand more about each other than you or the army ever understood me. So, while not being coerced to being friends with this Saiyan, I do have an understanding for what makes him tick, as well as him to me. So, the army as well as yourself hold no interest for me anymore. And I feel like this is a really good speech for Frieza, because I might not have touched upon it in the first part, but I just realized this would be perfect for Frieza and his emotions boiling in and laying into his father. And it would be perfect. But King Cold doesn't react out of anger this time, or surprise. Instead, he smiles and says whether or not they defeat him or anything like that, which he knows is not going to happen. As a matter of fact, Frieza's going to get the punishment of his life for defying his father and the Frieza Force. And the Saiyan, he's going to show Frieza how to properly exterminate the Saiyans. But that's not why he's smiling. He tells Frieza that seems like he thought of almost everything, even though no son of his again would ever do this. Unfortunately, Frieza skipped one small detail. His brother is still out in space. And he sent rogues of stellar regions and very backwater world Frieza Force members to find Cooler and inform him the moment King Cold passes, if that happens to occur, as a backup plan. So, on a distant planet, Cooler and Armored Squadron are just conquering backwater worlds on the other end of the universe, the galaxy, until they're contacted by a stellar region in case King Cold dies. So basically, King Cold formulated himself a backup plan. And this is a perfect way to canonize Cooler. Frieza's shocked at this, and that his father would even bother talking to Cooler after all these years, and to think that he's that worried that he might lose. But now he sees that King Cold has no intention of losing. He's just giving them an extra thing to worry about before he exterminates them. And now that Frieza knows that, he's worried about what his father's going to do. But Goku is not worried and gets into a fighting stance and says that Frieza is not on your side anymore, and neither am I. Never was. And if he is really evil because of you, I will defeat you and make your pain more worse than the pain I gave your son. And even that I didn't want to have to do, even after he killed hundreds of millions of people, including my best friend. He doesn't mention the Dragon Balls again on Earth, even though Frieza knows about it, but King Cold doesn't know about it, and says he's going to stop him with Frieza right here. King Cold is now beginning to get angry, because now it's not just his son defying him, it's a Saiyan standing up directly to him. And King Cold doesn't know yet. Remember, he didn't see a Super Saiyan until Trunks. So he is just getting mad, because, like he said, and he says this right here, he's going to show his son how to properly exterminate a Saiyan, and how to properly give a son a punishment. And within just a few split seconds, he transforms into his third form. Yes, I'm canonizing the manga and different interpretations of King Cold's forms, because honestly, King Cold sucked in the Dragon Ball anime. So, we gotta give him something. This is a Frieza story, and is part of Frieza's family. So of course King Cold and Cooler are gonna get time to shine. Wouldn't be a proper Frieza or Frost Tyrant story without them. So he transforms into his third form without even hesitating, within just a few seconds. And with this, he begins to fight Goku and Frieza, who power up. And the fight is actually pretty even, only for a little bit, until King Cold starts to pick up against Goku and Frieza and showcase his third form is monstrous. And it's close to the level of Super Saiyan Goku and Trunks during the Android Saga, which was also foretold in Dragon Ball Multiverse. So I'm going to go off that and just basic interpretation of how that would go if King Cold actually transformed, which Geekdom and others have tried to pinpoint as well. Soon as this happens and King Cold starts to take the edge and actually go all out in his third form, Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan, and Frieza, with his maximized and complete 100% power, because like the Super Saiyan Vegeta story, he's actually learned how to properly control it. Remember that. Now, not using their full power yet, they transform into their full power states, but they're not in full power in them. And this actually puts the battle well in their favor. Until Frieza remembers something. Oh, he has another form. And King Cold demonstrates this by transforming into his fourth form. And yeah, this becomes a problem very, very, very quickly. So much so that Goku transforms into his full power of his Super Saiyan form. And, fun fact, he actually is right near the edge of grade 2, right on the cusp of it. And Frieza transforms into his full power, maximized 100%. That's a little bit much to say, but I bet you guys can pretty much, you get it, right? Full power of his max power. You get it? So, like, basically overboard. And this actually does give King Cold a challenge, but it's not enough to outright, like, cripple him, like the third form and his base second form. Even though he was probably in a first form whenever he, like, first was created, but we only ever saw him in his second form, So, anyway, point is, he's not going, like, he's not getting crippled like he would if he was still in his second or third form. But to ensure that he doesn't get that way, since it's actually posing kind of a problem, and his son and this Saiyan, who is a Super Saiyan, by the way, that's a surprise enough, he knows he has to finish this battle, like, right now. And he transforms into his 100%. And remember, King Cold's been retired, so these forms are rusty, and that's another reason why he's not getting crippled, but he's also not, like, he has no more edge over them than they do over him. But King Cold still has a very good edge because his second form was still strong enough to par with Frieza's 50%. So, it still means that while these forms are rusty, all of King Cold is rusty, it still means he's a very huge threat. And his 100% right now in his fourth form are actually, like, semi-perfect Cell tier, like, into that. We can only infer that is very, very close to at least, like, that tier of power. And so much so that Goku and Frieza at this point, once King Cold transforms into 100%, are, like, they go beyond their full powers. Goku powers everything he can into a full power Super Saiyan angry Kamehameha, and this actually gives him a brief look, and us a brief look, into Super Saiyan Grade 2. And when he shoots it, it's like a power into the move, and Grade 2 helps empower it more. And then Frieza uses the big burst of energy, you must die by my hand, that signature technique, or Last Emperor if you play the games. And this is his 100% max power maximized, that whole thing. Try saying all that. And with these two techniques, King Cold is actually pushed back, but then he powers up even further. Don't worry, he's not going to transform. I'm not going to go full Dragon Ball multiverse, because that would be kind of ridiculous. I'm going to at least give him 100%, but if I gave him his 5th or 6th form, literally King Cold wins this. And I don't want to canonize too much of King Cold, especially from Dragon Ball Multiverse. I'm just giving him, the Frieza treatment, but not, like, overly, like, Frieza and family. You guys get what I'm saying. He holds it back and actually has to power in so much of his energy that it not only goes overboard, but it's very close to severely hurting him just holding these two techniques back. But he is able to do it. But Super Saiyan Goku and Frieza then go even more overboard, and this is a yellow and pink explosion of bursting energy waves. So this would be a really cool color and mix of, moves. And Goku and Frieza teaming up in the Tournament of Power was one thing, but teaming up this early, only, like, not even a month after they fought, this would be amazing and very peculiar to see. But then again, seeing, like, Goku and Piccolo and stuff team up, that was one thing. And then Goku and Vegeta. But this is probably the most awesome and yet weirdest tag team that I bet the whole Dragon Ball fandom never thought we'd see. But seeing it in this story so much earlier than in canon, it's insane. And with this, King Cold shows he's still able to hold the blast back. But now it's actually severely hurting him. So he actually has to divert all the power he's been using to hold this technique in to actually deflect it back. And this almost consumes all of his energy. And he actually has to go out of 100% right when he deflects it to not literally break his body. But this gives Goku and Frieza the perfect opening right after he deflects it to rush him. But little do both of them know, they have gotten out of their 100% and Super Saiyan forms. Number one, because they used way overboard their max powers of energy, and the fact that Goku learned Grade 2 without even understanding it. And even though, yes, both of them are stronger than in canon, obviously, that doesn't give the excuse that they've literally had to go beyond and even beyond to just fight King Cold. So we can definitely infer, just like the tournament, that they don't even realize that they're out of energy, you know? But they still rush him at the perfect opportunity after he deflects this amazing level of energy. But King Cold shows that he's still stronger than the pair of them. And he proves this by knocking Goku down with a flurry of blasts and punches and kicks. So now Goku's crippled on the ground, and Frieza is tortured something awful and given the worst punishment, because the Saiyan is one thing. He'll deal with that Saiyan because he knows the Saiyan's too crippled now to move. But his son, he gets the punishment first for allowing the Saiyan to live and for betraying his race. And King Cold looks down at his son, disgraced, disappointed that his son not only dishonored his clan, but let the Saiyan live. And just because he proved a challenge and he saved him, now he's going to show his son how to properly exterminate someone by watching himself and the Saiyan die at the same time. And he prepares to finish both of them off with the same attack, but just then, a blue energy ball surfaces from atop the Yardratian sky, and King Cold has to jump out of the way, or he would whack it with his tail. That'd be cool to see. And who is this? It's Vegeta. Because, remember, Vegeta's resurrected, and he went off in space to go look for Goku. And yes, I know what you all are thinking. If Goku and Frieza are on Yardrat, then why didn't Goku get brought back to Yardrat, and would he still even be on Yardrat with Frieza and all this other stuff? Why would Vegeta be still going out looking for him? Well, I feel that he would, because I feel that Goku might have still refused. We don't know how that conversation exactly played out. Because remember, when the Cell Saga ended, Goku wanted to stay dead. And whenever Goku was asked to be brought to Earth before Mecha Frieza, Purunga told us that he wanted to stay behind and come back on his own. But we never actually saw that interaction, like at the end of the Cell Saga. So we can only infer that without Frieza being known to the people on Earth, Goku would keep it a secret and want to stay training. And this would probably be while he was on his own before he asked Frieza to train with him. So when you really think about it, it's not that far-fetched, and I bet you guys are thinking, King Kai would have saw all of this. And wouldn't he have told the Z-Fighters? And yeah, I definitely think that he would. But for any Z-Fighter like Piccolo and the Earthlings on King Kai's world, or Gohan, especially Vegeta, to believe Frieza was good, I think that King Kai would hold this information just because no one would believe, and they would all instantly want to go and kill Frieza. And King Kai was actually interested the minute that Frieza actually started helping Goku, even though he thought that Frieza was going to betray him, which was Frieza's initial plan. So in closing, everything worked out in canon the way it was supposed to, with King Kai hiding stuff and Goku hiding stuff. So when you really think about it, until Vegeta landed here, and since King Cold and Mecha Frieza never went to Earth, because Frieza's still in his organic body, and King Cold's on this planet, and now Vegeta's here. Everything worked up the way it was supposed to until just right now. So I think we have all the questions out of the way. Anyway, Vegeta's here, and Goku can't believe it. Vegeta? He didn't think anyone knew about him or what he was doing or anything like that. But Vegeta smirks. He knows what the dragon told the Earthlings and everything about how Kakarot didn't want to come back. But Vegeta wasn't going to accept that. He wants to be the next Super Saiyan. And says that now that he's found Kakarot and sensed his high power level, along with two others, he guessed that Frieza was either, fully dead and that this was just his father or something else. He would come here and either help Kakarot so he could get him to teach him about a Super Saiyan, or fight Kakarot personally because of the same reason. But then Frieza makes his presence known in front of Vegeta, who is still crippled, by the way, because King Cold gave him a worse thrashing than Goku. And once Vegeta sees Frieza pretty much by Goku, and then he sees King Cold looking directly at all three of them, Vegeta puts two and two together and cannot believe it. Frieza's still alive, and his father's there. Kakarot's next to Frieza. The planet's blown up, but they're here. And Vegeta just stops thinking and immediately powers up an attack, ready to kill Frieza, not caring about King Cold. But Goku yells at Vegeta, saying that he's not like that anymore. That guy right there that's staring at all of them, that's his father. They're fighting him. Frieza's not like that anymore. But Vegeta is having none of it and says, "What are you thinking, Kakarot? Of course he is like that. Do you not know what he did? Your Super Saiyan, my death, the resurrections, all of what has happened, the dying planet Namek, all this to team up with Frieza, and that Vegeta doesn't understand anything, and he's half tempted just to blow up this whole planet right now. He's actually getting very angry. But this huge distraction allows King Cold to gain some of his energy back, to transform back into 100% and make his presence fully known to Vegeta, and remind Frieza and Goku they're not done with him yet, and he's tired of all this bantering. And now that Vegeta's come here, he's going to join them in death. And I bet you're wondering where all the Yardratians are. Once again, manga stuff, they're all hiding. Goku powers everything he can. But the highest he can go is Kaioken times 10, maybe 20. I'm going to say 20 for nice. And Frieza powers back into his 100%. Although, it's kind of like the 100% for Namek. So think of him as like basically his inexperienced self. Like, slowly losing energy because he's had a worse thrashing. 100% is not going to be as sustainable now. So yeah, it's not really a good idea. And Vegeta, seeing this, seeing Frieza, seeing Kakarot, all of this, he's not accepting all of this and is getting angrier and angrier and angrier. So much so, he starts to power up, and lightning sparks, and Frieza's seen this before and just smiles, thinking Vegeta might be help, but there's no way that his small power is going to help us. And honestly, Vegeta helping them something that Frieza is uncomfortable with, and Frieza's having to process this too. And Goku's wondering what Vegeta's doing as well. But this isn't the same power-up that Vegeta used against Frieza in that fight. This is something different. Something much higher. Flashes come before Vegeta. Flashes of Frieza's destruction of planet Vegeta. all of the Saiyans, his father, Goku's father, his home world, the subjugation of himself, Nappa, and Raditz, their deaths, Vegeta's disgraceful performance on Earth, and then his death against Frieza. And now, Kakarot, who he entrusted to kill Frieza, who he saw as the Super Saiyan before he was warped to Earth, entrusted to kill Frieza, or better yet, both of them kill each other. And when he heard that Kakarot was alive, he expected Frieza to be dead, but now they're friends fighting against Frieza's father, but it's not Frieza's father that they're teaming against that gets him. That's not what's making him angry. He doesn't care about that. What he cares about is the fact that Kakarot's teaming with Vegeta's old boss and his worst enemy. After everything Vegeta cried and brought to Kakarot's attention, he disgraces the Saiyan race by doing this, and it all boils together. And a flash, Vegeta roars in an amazing burst of anger, pride, and rage. And then it happens. He transforms into the legendary Super Saiyan. That's right, we're getting Super Saiyan Vegeta early. And no, this isn't going to be like a, Vegeta Revenge or Super Saiyan Vegeta or the Immortal Vegeta story. No, it's just because all of what is happening right now was just so much for Vegeta to take in. How can I not transform him? But Vegeta knows that if he wants to kill Frieza or make Kakarot pay, they have to deal with one threat. So Vegeta angrily looks at Frieza and tells him and Kakarot not to get in his way. He will help them one time. And he looks very angry and very annoyed when he says the word help, especially glaring at Frieza. But all of them agree together. They have one enemy, and it's looking right at them. Frieza's father. Goku at the highest Kaioken he can muster. Frieza at his 100% all he can muster. And Vegeta. And an earlier, 3-year earlier, Super Saiyan transformation against King Cold, maximizing between his 4th and 100% forms. Will the three be able to stop King Cold? What about Trunks? And if King Cold succeeds, was the transformations and all of this even worth it? And if all of this goes their way, will Vegeta kill Frieza and maybe even Goku? Where will this story, with so many action-packed scenes, go from here? And what about Cooler if King Cold dies? Find out in the next episode of What If Frieza Turned Good.